Hello everyone, I'm Richard Gerhardt and welcome to Body of Energy. So this is session number 15 and I have sent a message to my Instagram follower who this is about, and so they know that they're session number 15. And so this is the tool that was chosen for them. It's the element tool. It is about the elements which represent the different body parts. So fire representing the mind, water, the emotions, air, the spirit, earth, the body, light, the heart, and the element of life, which represents the soul, and the meaning of the numbers, and how they're all connected. So this chart is actually a two-dimensional chart of a three-dimensional object. It creates a kind of hieroglyph, if you will, a language, okay? It's an image that represents the energy of a person, okay? And so it represents the direction of the tool, the question, if you will. And so I'm going to use this set of cards. This is my own personal set of cards. This is the set of cards that I have made for myself. I developed them as I developed this tool. And so I like using this set of cards. And so this is the set I'm going to be using for this person right now. And so this is the combination of the element deck, which is 108 cards, and the Ultimate Expansion deck, which is a set of 54 words, which represent characteristics and attributes. And those characteristics and attributes are like a stair step, a ladder, if you will, one upon the other. And so they help create a complete picture as to what's going on within a person. So as I've said before in some other videos, when I'm shuffling such a big deck, I take a third of the deck and set it aside. I take a third off the top, and then I shuffle what's in my hand, and then I take a third off the top again. I move the pile from one side to the other just so I know how many times I've done it. And so that's just something I do. It really doesn't matter. And so it makes it a lot easier to shuffle 162 cards. But each one of these cards represents a point on the tool. Okay? So like here's the 5 of water. Inside the deck is the 5 of water. Alright? And so also, when you're shuffling cards, the best way, for myself, I've discovered, to break the deck is sideways. It allows the cards to then turn into each other and continually be rotating upright and reverse positions to each other, okay? Because when they're split long ways, okay, if you can imagine splitting them long ways, they just come right back into each other, the same way they were broke apart. And by breaking them on the side, it turns them into each other, head to head, and allows that continual rotation between upright and reverse positions, okay? And so, after I shuffle, I rifle through them a few times. That's just my routine. I really like card decks because it really disconnects me from influencing which cards will be picked, so to speak. It just allows the natural flow of what's going to come up on top to come up on top. And I like that process. So I just go with it, let it happen, don't think about it. Because the purpose of the energy tool, as I've mentioned before, is to remove my own preconceived ideas from the answer. It just allows it to flow. I direct the tool, and the tool reveals the answer. And that removes me from the equation. And so that's how this tool is used and how it works, okay? So the beauty of this tool, as I've said before, is that there's 9 points on the tool. 9 points plus 0 is 1 billion. Okay? So there's 1 billion different combinations at least on this tool. And that is very appealing to me because the tool cannot be manipulated. And I wanted a tool that was not able to be manipulated and highly accurate. And that's what this tool is. Okay? Because it's connected to the framework of the tool. And the framework of the tool is the framework upon which all of these principles and truths which govern the tool sit. And there's no conflict with them. Therefore, there's no conflict within the tool. So, I'm just writing down all of these cards because this is the first level of reading it. And this worksheet helps me read it on 9 additional levels, okay? So here's how this tool goes. This is the element of fire. It represents the mind and the principle of wisdom. It's this part of the person that's trying to choose between a right choice and a wrong choice, between a wise choice or an unwise choice, so to speak. Okay? And so this is what's going on in the mind of this person at this time. It's about the right connection. This point is right here on the tool. It represents the right connection between the spirit and the heart. It's this point, okay? So what's influencing this person and what's on their mind has to do with truth being rightly connected to understanding, between the spirit and the heart being rightly connected, okay? And that's what's going on in the mind of the person at the time. This is the element of earth. It represents the body and the principle of prosperity, okay? And this is the element of joy. It's connected to the element of gladness, okay? So joy is the thing that's influencing the body in its ability to prosper. And that's what's going on in the body at this time for this person. And it becomes the balance point. This is the element of air. It represents the spirit and the principle of truth. Okay? It's this part of the person that's trying to discern between truth and error, between what's right and what's wrong. Okay? It's connected to our conscience. Our spirits are connected to our conscience. And so for this person, it's about the number 2 and the element of water, which is right here on the tool. The 2 of water. Alright? So this is about being whole. The number 2 is about being whole. So the analogy of the number 2 is represented in these 2 parallel lines. Okay? It's about the person and what they need to make them whole running together, coming together. And the closer those 2 lines get to each other, the more whole it makes the person, okay? And so, even though they're 2 separate things, they come together and make each other whole. Because the opposite of being whole is to be divided, okay? And so that's the understanding of the number 2 on one level. This is about being whole in the emotions, being whole in the principle of peace, okay? So when the emotions are at peace, it allows the person to be whole in their life. And that's the thing that the spirit is focused on. That's the influence of what's going on in the spirit and what they're discerning and trying to discern, okay? This is the element of water. It represents the emotions and the principle of peace. And this is the 1 of earth. And the 1 of earth is right here on the tool. This is about being aligned with the right pathway in the body so that it can prosper. So when the body's prospering, they can be aligned with the right pathway in their life. Okay? That's what's affecting the emotions. That's what's affecting their peace. So the number 1 is also represented by the parallel lines. Because if this is what's right, this is what's true, this line right here, this is them lining themselves up with it. Because this doesn't work. What's right, what's true, doesn't move. We move to it. That's a representation of the number 1. That's why it's a straight line. And that's what's going on there. And so the heart of the matter for this person, okay, this is the element of light. It represents the heart and the principle of understood. For understanding takes place in the heart. Things are understood in the heart. This is about the principle of teachable. It's connected to the word meek. Both of these words are together. They're companion words to each other. And being meek and teachable is about submitting one's own ideas, one's own thoughts to the truth, to something higher. Okay? In order to be teachable, a person has to submit to what they think they know or what they already know, to what they're being taught, especially if what they're being taught is right or better or higher than what they already have. And so that's what's going on in the heart. This is the heart of the matter. All of this is about this principle, being teachable. Okay? So that's what's going on for this person. And between the mind and the body, okay, it's about being meek. So again, being meek is connected to teachable. A meek person is teachable. Both of these represent the ability to submit to being taught, to submit to the truth, submit to something higher. Okay? So between the mind and the body, between wisdom and prosperity, it's about being meek. Okay? Between the mind and the emotions, it's about discernment. This is an attribute. Okay? These are characteristics. And this is an attribute. An attribute is the outcome of character. It's the result of character. And this is about discernment. Discernment is connected to the word judgment. Judgment and discernment. Okay? Or in other words, the ability to see things the way they really are. The way they really were. The way they really will be. That kind of a thought. And so between the mind and the emotions, it's about discernment. Okay? Between the spirit and the body, it's about sacrifice. The principle of sacrifice. Okay? So sacrifice is connected to obedience. Sacrifice is what happens in order for a person to be obedient. The focus here is about sacrifice. Letting their own will go, their own desires go, whatever it may be, that needs to be sacrificed so they can be obedient to something that will bring something greater. That's the whole point of sacrifice. It allows a person to be obedient to things that will bring in the blessings they're seeking, so to speak. Okay? Between the spirit and the emotions, it's about the principle of being fair and just. This is a characteristic. It's connected to the word equity. And it's part of the definition of justice. Somebody who's just, or justice, is a person who is fair and just and are equitable. And that's what's going on between the spirit and the emotions. So that's the first level of reading all of this. Okay? And so on another level, if I just now look at all of the numbers, this is a number 1, here's another number 1, this is a 2, and that's all the numbers that are here. So numerically speaking, all of this for this person on another level is about being aligned with the right pathway. That's what this is about. Being aligned with the right pathway. Okay? That's the most important number. And so then the sum total of the numbers paints another kind of a picture. And it's about the number 4. A 1 plus a 1 plus a 2 is a 4. And in that position, it's about the past. Between past, present, and future, the energy of this person is on the past. Okay? And, very specifically, about this 4th position. Joy. Okay? So that's the focus of the energy for this person. In the past, focused on the principle of joy. Okay? And that's what's going on there. So then in terms of the elements, what is the most important element for this person? So it's about all 4 of these elements. Okay? It's about the element of air, which is connected to the spirit, connected to the truth. Okay? It's about the element of light, connected to the heart. Okay? The ability to understand. It's connected to the body, its ability to prosper, and connected to the emotion, the ability to have peace. So here's an analogy of all of that if we look at those elements and their position. Okay? On the tool, here's the element of air. It's upside down. Okay? And up here would be and is the element of fire. Here's the element of water, and the element of earth, and the element of light. These 4 elements for this person are right here. It's about truth and understanding so that the emotions respond to true and the truth and the right understanding of it, and so does the body. That's why these elements are connected in this sense. Okay? And so that's what's going on a different level for this person. Okay? So on another level, between the cards that are upright and the cards that are reversed, this card was in its upright position, and so was this, and this was reversed. Okay? So this has to do with more energy going out. Okay? So this person has a lot of energy coming in. It creates an overload, frustration, an overcharge. And so the change was about allowing more energy out. And very specifically, about the cards that were in the upright position. About being aligned with the bright body. Okay? In the body so that it can prosper. Being aligned with the right pathway in the body so it can prosper. And the right connection between the heart and the spirit. And that energy needs to come out. And that's the change that took place. Okay? So then, the next part is about what are the most important principles between truth, understanding, and wisdom, peace, and prosperity. And so the focus of those principles is about having a foundation for them. So this is about having a foundation of truth. It's about having a foundation of understanding in the heart. It is about having a foundation for peace and having a foundation for prosperity. So all of that is going on for this person at this time on that level. That's what all of this is about. And so the impact of that has to do with the chart here in the middle. The 4 of the element of light is right here. The impact is on the emotions. The 4 of air is right here. The impact is on the emotions. Okay? the 4 of earth is right here. Earth and the number 4. The impact is on the spirit. And let's see, the 4 of water is right here. The impact is on the mind. So between the mind, the body, the spirit, the emotions, and the heart of the person, the balance point for this person is about the mind, the spirit, and the emotions twice. Okay? This is the impact of what's going on in the middle. Okay? About having a foundation. And so now, I'm going to line all these cards up where they go. And it paints another kind of a picture. Okay? So the most important quadrant, okay, this represents the outside edge of the person, the energy that they're putting out into the world, and they need to put out into the world. Okay? Is what's going on in the body. That's the quadrant that they need to put out into the world. It's about the element of earth. It's about the color green, how they see and discern what's going on there. Okay? It's about these very specific points. What do they need to put out into the world? The principle of sacrifice and joy and meek and being aligned with the right pathway in the body so they can prosper. That's what they're putting out into the world. Okay? And need to put out into the world. So then the most important pathway is represented by these parallel lines. How energy flows through these points, okay? And so for them, it looks like it's this pathway right here between the emotions and the body. Okay? It's about the 0 and about the number 1 and the number 2. Okay, so on one level, the 0 is about enjoyment and satisfaction. The 1 is about being aligned with the right pathway, and the 2 is about being whole. And all of this is taking place between the emotions and the body, between peace and prosperity. And so then it paints a picture as to what's going on in their life. This becomes the story of what's going on for them. Right here. In this order. Okay? First and foremost, it's about discernment. So they can be whole in emotions and in peace. And then it leads to sacrifice. So they can be aligned with the right pathway in their body and their ability to prosper. And so that's all the different levels of reading this tool for this person. And that's how this tool works. So, thank you for joining me. As I've said before, this session is also recorded and posted on YouTube so that this person, whether they're watching now or not, can watch it on YouTube, which is a much better quality video of these sessions, and they can watch it anytime they want and feel the impact and what's going on with them at this time and experience this. So, like I said, send me a message if you have questions, thoughts, whatever it may be, and I'll be glad to answer them. So thank you for joining.